Number 1. Italy was known for its art scene and flamboyant dress sense between the 1490s and 1527. What isn't documented as much is the major outbreak of syphilis that occurred in 1494. The sexually transmitted disease in a modern-day society poses very little threat and can be easily cured with antibiotics, but back in the High Renaissance era antibiotics were far from becoming part of the medical world, leaving the disease to unleash devastation. Can you imagine having to go to your nearest start box to show this beauty off? Number 2. European world was ripe for an epidemic of rats. And the rats showed up in full swing in 1346 in the Crimea, via the Silk Road from China. There were no cats to check the rats stowing away on board merchant ships, and these rats were infested with fleas. The fleas carried Yersinia pestis, better known as plague today. This bacteria has been all but eradicated in most places around the world, because cleanliness is next to godliness. A regular hot bath with soap will rid you of fleas, but such baths were not regular in the Middle Ages without treatment. Plague is one of only 3 known diseases with a mortality rate of 100%. Number 3. Mentally handicapped Kennedy girl grew into rebellious teen, so they gave her a lobotomy and turned her into a vegetable. The instrument Dr. Watts used looked like a butter knife. He swung it up and down to cut brain tissue. "We put an instrument inside," he said. As Dr. Watts cut, Dr. Freeman put questions to Rosemary. For example, he asked her to recite the Lord's Prayer or sing God Bless America or count backwards. "We made an estimate on how far to cut based on how she responded," he said. And when she began to become incoherent, they stopped. Number 4. The Great Chinese Famine was caused by social pressure, economic mismanagement, and radical changes in agriculture. Mao Zedong, chairman of the Chinese Communist Party, introduced drastic changes in farming which prohibited farm ownership. Failure to abide by the policies led to persecution. The social pressure imposed on the citizens in terms of farming and business, which the government controlled, led to state instability. It is estimated that over 40 million people died due to the instability that led to the Chinese famine. Number 5. Gilles de Rais was a celebrated Breton knight who fought in the French army. After de Rais retired from the military, he admitted to dabbling in the occult, attempting to summon demons and offering pieces of his victims as sacrifices. Finding children to murder was not difficult, as peasant children would often approach his castle begging for food. Since he selected children from very poor families, no one had the clout to accuse him of wrongdoing when their children went missing. Once de Rais had abducted the children, he took great pleasure in torturing, sodomizing, and murdering them. His preferred method of death was decapitation, but he would also cut their throats, dismember them, or break their necks. In 1440 he was caught along with others from the occult, prompting a formal investigation and trial. De Rais, who was about to be tortured into a confession, finally admitted to murdering hundreds of children. He, along with a few accomplices who had helped him on his gruesome mission, were executed by hanging and burning in 1440. Thanks for watching. And don't forget to subscribe. Look for my next video.